Hello fellow YouTubers, LegoWC Stop Motioner here. Welcome to viewers new and old, and today I'm taking a look at the Jakks Pacific Sonic Movie 3 5-inch Sonic action figure. Yeah, the figures came out 4 months before the movie. Still no trailer. What are they doing? I don't know, it's weird. I'm not sure if these were really supposed to come out when they did, but you know, they came out at Walmart, so I went there and I was able to get this guy. I missed out on Tails, Eggman, and Shadow, unfortunately, but I'll keep my eyes peeled for them. I was able to get my hands on some of the 2.5-inch figures, though. We had the Robotnik. Overall, pretty solid figure. I like the paint and sculpt work. I don't like the pupils looking up and to his right. That just looks kind of weird. I don't know if that's intentional, but I've seen other pictures and videos where he looks like that, so I don't know. Also got Knuckles. Really like his expression. This guy just looks really good. And here we got Shadow. At least we're getting a full look at how he looks in movie 3 in some form. And they also had the Sonic. I decided to skip it. It didn't look as horrible as I initially thought it did, but it just still wasn't for me. I had the 2.5-inch figure from movie 2, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Anyway, for the packaging on this figure, take a look at this guy. It looks like he has the lenticular eyes from the Mario movie figures. I'm not sure how to feel about that. It's kind of cool in a way, but it's also just kind of creepy. It doesn't follow you around as much as those figures did, which I'm kind of happy about, although it looks like Tails, his eyes really follow you around. Take a look at the back of the packaging. It has a description that says, Sonic is on a roll. Saved the world twice, but who's counting? And has 2 besties for his team. But will they be enough to handle a devastating new threat? Probably not, but we'll find out. There's the other figures in the wave that I hope to find soon. From what I understand, there's 2 Sonics per case, 1 Shadow, and it's either Eggman or Tails. Walmart just being the stupid store that they usually are. Then you'll notice on the front of the packaging, there isn't really much new here. Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic, those are all renders from the second movie. And then Shadow, that's just what we saw in the post-credit scene. They're just really wanting to keep this movie under wraps. I don't know. It's interesting. I can understand that, but I'd like to see some new renders. It'd be kind of cool to see that. Then we got the logo right there. And that pretty much does it for the packaging. I think when it comes to the main game figures from Jakks, their packaging is a little basic, but I like what they do for the other stuff like Movie 2 figures, the Prime figures, now Sonic Movie 3 figures. I don't know, they're just cool. I wish they did this with the game figures. So I guess with all that out of the way, let's go and get this guy out. And no plastic ties. Jakks, please make up your mind on that. Okay, so right off the bat, I do have a couple issues with this guy, but this may very well be my new favorite Sonic figure in my collection. Yes, the sculpt is a little compromised because of all the joints, but he still looks really good, and they went all out on the sculpting on this guy. He's got the fur throughout. He has a couple translucent quills, which is kind of interesting. I know they're going to be making a retool of this guy where he has a light up head, but this figure doesn't do that, so I'm not entirely sure what the idea was there. It's a cool look, don't get me wrong. It's just, I guess they kind of had those there with the light up one in mind. I'm not sure. You can see the lenticular eyes. Yeah. Still not sure how to feel about that. It's fine though. It does have an open mouth expression, which I usually find those to be hit or miss, but honestly, this doesn't look bad. I think that works pretty well for him. The shoes are what I'm really impressed with. Like, look at that. The texture that they put on them, that's really impressive. An extra mile that honestly, they hadn't gone that route, I wouldn't have been too upset, but I'm really glad that they did. And of course got Sculpt work on the bottom of the shoes. There's the numbers and letters and such. Gloves look good. Just overall, I'm really happy with the look of this figure. For some comparisons, here he is with the 4-inch Movie 2 Sonic, the 4-inch Movie 2 Super Sonic, and the 2.5-inch Movie 2 Sonic. Yeah, these are the main movie versions of Sonic that I have. Still absolutely love this figure. He's not going anywhere. But I am really impressed with this figure because, again, I was pretty skeptical about the idea of them doing 5-inch instead of 4-inch, but I'm happy with how he turned out. I just hope we get a 5-inch Supersonic at some point. And before we get into the articulation, I just want to compare him to the Sonic Prime version of Sonic. And one of my biggest concerns about these figures being 5-inch was because these Prime figures, I like them, don't get me wrong. I think they're fun and unique, but they're just kind of annoying to pose sometimes. Like I talked about before, there's like a couple joints in the ankles, and as a result, I just can't straighten this right foot. It's so annoying. And also the hips, there's a swivel on the thigh, then there's also a universal joint, and I don't know, it just doesn't move forward and back as much as I would like for it to. That's not an issue with this guy at all. And I'll talk about how that works in a second. But to start off with the articulation, head is on a ball joint. Get more movement out of it than you normally do with Jakks Sonic figures. Gets him up and down. Tilt right and left. And let's see, can he do a full... Yeah, he can do a full 360. He has butterfly joints, which is just awesome, and they work surprisingly well. He's got shoulders, do a full 360. They can go up about that far. You have a bicep rotation, an elbow bend, elbow rotation. Then you do have below the elbow rotation, which I don't think is completely necessary, but that's fine. I am slightly annoyed with how they did the wrists, because you see they swivel here, and then you do have, like, a second, this joint's a little hard to use. You can go forward and back, which I like that part, but I would have rather the swivel part been at the top of the glove. Hands can open and close. It looks a little weird when the hand opens, but that's kind of sort of to be expected. Then he has a kind of stomach rotation. Not a whole lot of ab crunch, but still a little bit. Now the hips are interesting because they're not really designed the way that Sonic figures are usually designed. Like usually the legs come straight out of the bottom of the torso. But these have a little bit more of a traditional design that you see for action figures. And we've seen that done on Sonic figures before, like with the Tomy Boom figures, and it's not awful, but I don't know, something about it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It works really well here though, because it still feels very cohesive. And the legs can go forward that far and back that far. There is a ratchet. It's not very audible, but it is there. They can go out to the side. You have a thigh rotation. Again, much better than how it was done with the Prime figure, because it's down low enough that it doesn't hinder the hip movement. So really appreciate that. Knees can bend a little over 90. You do have the little rotation in the knee. Just said before, I generally don't care about that much, but if it's there, I'm not really going to complain. I'm also really happy with how the ankles are designed. As you can see the forward and back joint, and they can still pivot. To be honest, I'm not completely sure how they did that. Like, I don't see any joints there. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that works. I'm impressed by that, though. Really cool. So, I really enjoy the articulation on this figure. That's probably my favorite part. I'm going to have a lot of fun posing this figure. And man, this pose right here, when I get my hands on Shadow, that's just going to be so cool because I can finally have a Shadow figure looking like he's getting ready to take off his inhibitor rings. That's just going to be so cool. So as I said throughout the video, I wasn't really too happy about the Movie 3 figures being 5-inch, but I'm really happy with this. This is a very promising start, and I've heard good things about the other figures in this wave, so I'm really excited. Am I bummed that I'll never have a 4-inch Movie Shadow in the collection? Yes, but still, I'm really happy with this. You get a chance, I definitely recommend picking them up. These are hitting Walmarts right now, and like I said, Sonic will probably be easier to find than some of the other figures in this wave. So, definitely recommend him. If I can, I'll probably review the other 3 figures in this wave together, but since I just had Sonic, I thought, why not? Just go ahead and review him by himself. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Movie 3 Sonic figure. Again, really happy with him. But that's just what I think of the figure. As always, please let me know what you think of the figure down in the comments. And if you like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and God bless.